All right, hello there, and welcome back to the News Project Live on GNAT-TV's Facebook page. I'm Andrew McKeever, the news director at GNAT-TV's News Project. It's a pleasure to be back with you again on Friday, June 10th. Got a couple of stories we just want to kind of catch you up on, and a few events we just want you to be aware of as well, if you're not already. Just turning to a couple of local stories to start off with. Many of you will remember back in January or February, so one of the hot topics around town in Manchester was the status and fate of the North Shire Rescue Squad, whether or not it would be continuing to be providing ambulance and rescue services to the town of Manchester. There was a conversation, I guess you could call it, between town officials and officials of the rescue squad. A consultant had been brought in and did a survey and a review of it. Came up with a couple of recommendations that would have definitely changed the status quo quite remarkably. Anyway, we were just reminded that the agreement between the town and the North Shore Rescue Squad is scheduled to expire at the end of this month. So our understanding is talks have been continuing on ever since, well, back towards the end of last year, about whether or not the town will continue its agreement or renew the agreement. So presumably within about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll know whether or not that's going to happen, or if Manchester will make an effort to set up its own rescue squad and break off from the North Shire Rescue Squad. They also serve the towns of Danby, Dorset, Mount Tabor, and part of Winhall. So we'll be watching. The anticipation is that the Manchester Select Board might be discussing this at its next meeting on Tuesday, June 14th. It's not a specific agenda item yet, but that might be part of the executive session discussion that's on the list there. So we'll see. In any event, we will be following this along and hope to pull together a segment to bring everyone, and ourselves included, up to speed on where that stands. Also, just something worth noting, certainly for Dorset residents, the Dorset Planning Commission is working on a comprehensive review of the town's zoning and subdivision bylaws. This was recommended in the last time the town plan in Dorset was reviewed and revisited. That was back in 2018. The Planning Commission is holding, or will be holding, two public hearings to hear from members of the public about what they would like to see. The first one was held last night, Thursday, June 9th. The next one, though, will be coming up on July the 6th. And that will be held at the Dorset School Gymnasium. It will start at 7 o'clock. You can also weigh in and go to the Dorset Town website and offer some opinions at that point. But on July 6th, you'll have an opportunity to see what the planners have come up with and how that might impact you. It will definitely, as the town has said on its website, it will have an impact on every property parcel in town. And like I said, you can go to dorsetvt.org. That's the town website, and there are zoning maps and some drafts of proposed regulations that you can read to get caught up to speed on that. Turning around to weekend events that are both worth knowing about and also potentially newsworthy. Going to be quite a busy weekend, it looks like. Moving up, starting up in Winhall or Bonneville, the Bonneville Concert Series will be starting again this afternoon with a parade that will be held in Winhall. It will start at 4 p.m. and head down to the Bonneville Fairgrounds down the street. It will be in honor of Andy Gluss, resident of the town who passed away last January. He was one who helped organize this concert series, and there'll be a couple of really interesting sounding bands performing, and worth going to see if you're up in that neck of the woods. Sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. And for those of you who didn't know Mr. Gloss, he was a skier who came up from New York a lot and wound up adopting Winhall as as a sort of hometown, and he helped found the Mountain Safety Patrol at Stratton Mountain. So he also created this concert series as a way to raise money for local charities. So it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. 4 p.m. this afternoon is when the parade begins. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 11th, at the roundabout in Manchester, there will be a March for Our Lives event. It will be part of a nationwide series of marches and demonstrations around the country to express concerns about rates of gun violence and mass shootings that have sadly and tragically been taking place recently. Uh, there'll be one in Washington D.C. There'll be another one in Montpelier as well, and there'll be hundreds across the country. But the one here will be taking place at 12 noon tomorrow at the roundabout in Manchester. It'll it's a run for at least 1, possibly 2 hours, and so folks are interested in showing up for that. That's where you'd want to be, or if they're not going to be uh, blocking traffic, so if you're driving through town, it shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, that will be one event we will be attending as well, and filing reports on. See how that goes. The Green Mountain Book Fair is at the Manchester County Library, Manchester Community Library, excuse me. It started last night with a conversation with writer Sue Halpern, and we'll be continuing on through the weekend. Most of the events seem to be happening tomorrow and Sunday. Uh, there'll be a silent auction. There'll be more author events. Archer Mayer, the well-known mystery writer who lives in Newfane, will be speaking, I believe, at 2 o'clock on Saturday. He'll be followed by another writer, Susan Fox, who will also be discussing her book, Learning the Birds. There'll be art events, children's events. There'll be an appearance made by the new police dog, Moose, um, the canine addition to the Manchester Police Department, and books that are available on sale. So a lot of stuff going on. You can go to their website, mclvt.org, to get the list of events, and we will also be covering that as well in some live Facebook and Instagram events as well. And also this afternoon, I should have mentioned earlier, the Arlington Farmers Market is back. It reopened last weekend or last Friday on June 3rd. It's back again today at the Arlington Recreation Park there on Route 7A. It is going to start at 4 p.m. and run until 7 p.m. Just moving to some statewide stuff here. Just want to make note of the fact that while the legislature is now out of session, is adjourned for the rest of the year, Governor Scott signed the state budget and also the transportation budget earlier this week. According to an article we saw in VT Digger, Governor Scott signed an $8.1 billion state budget into law. That's the biggest one ever. It will invest nearly $500 million in leftover federal COVID relief aid into housing, climate action, clean water, and broadband initiatives. Together with the transportation bill, that will actually take us to a total of about $8.3 billion in total spending between the two. In the big bill, as the budget is called, there's $96 million for broadband build out, $104 million for water quality and sewer infrastructure projects, and $225 million for various climate initiatives, including $80 million in state grants for weatherization, $45 million for municipal energy resilience programs, and $8 million for advanced metering. So that got done anyway. The governor vetoed a lot of bills. In fact, I believe he set a record for that this year. He vetoed 11 bills this session, and so far has vetoed 35 bills, most of any governor uh, that the state has had so far. But worth noting that those two bills that control and dictate what the state spending will be are in the books, and we'll be turning our attention to some of the housing bills that also were the subject of a lot of activity, certainly towards the end of the session. We will be working to pull together a report on that to explain what passed and what didn't. Basically, we can say that there were two housing bills that did get through. A lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth on the subject, but one of them includes $20 million for the Vermont Housing Improvement Program, which seeks to bring back houses and apartments in disrepair back into the market. Another bill will also fund middle-income housing and eliminates the need for developers to get water and sewer permits from both the municipality and the state. So a lot going on in the housing market, housing areas. We all know that's a big subject of the conversation around the state, has been for a while, and a lot of activity there. And we will be, like I said, zeroing in on it a little more closely in the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to quickly return to our update. We used to kind of give you a rundown of the numbers each week. That became a little more difficult because the State Department of Health is no longer breaking a lot of those numbers out. But we do know from information from the New York Times and the Centers for Disease Control that Bennington County is the only county left in Vermont with, at the moment anyway, with a high rate of COVID cases and hospitalizations. Um, the numbers of cases have gone down considerably since earlier this spring. We're far from out of the woods, as we all know at this point. Still got a way to go on all of this, but at least statewide anyway, things are definitely getting better. And here in Bennington County, where we're the one last remaining county that sort of qualifies for high rates of cases, the numbers of hospitalized patients and also deaths from the disease have fallen a lot. We've had basically an average of 13 cases per day in Bennington County, um, which is a 45% decrease from the average 2 weeks ago. So good news there, in a sense, relatively speaking, anyway. But still, we have a ways to go. The three counties that border Bennington County, Windham, Windsor, and Rutland, are in a medium community level status, as is Orleans County up in the Northeast Kingdom. The remaining counties in the state are now at low community levels. And just briefly, obviously, elections are going to be coming up in the not too distant future. The primary elections will be held on August 9th. We've been trying to have discussions and conversations with as many of the candidates as possible, mostly just kind of one-on-one conversations so far. And we're going to be working very hard to get as many candidates for all the offices, both local and statewide, on our screen for you folks to listen into and learn more about. One quick note: Chris Morrow. Many of you remember the former owner of the North Shore Bookstore had put his hat in the ring for a state senate seat from Windsor County. He's a resident of Weston, but has opted to withdraw from that campaign. So we were interested to find that out just this morning. As I said earlier, we're going to be having as many candidates as we can interviewed and have conversations with. We are looking forward to having Charity Clark, who is a candidate in the Democratic primary for Attorney General, on with us next week. Sarah Copeland Hanses is currently a state representative who's running for Secretary of State. We're looking forward to having her on towards the end of the month. We are reaching out to all the other campaigns, as many of them as we can, to line up interviews with everybody from both parties. Uh, on the governor's race, the two main candidates, of course, Phil Scott, the incumbent, is running as a Republican. Brenda Siegel is running as a Democrat. Lieutenant governor race is a very crowded scene there. Four candidates in the lieutenant governor's race, in the Democratic primary for lieutenant governor. Kitty Toll, we've had a conversation with her, so we'll be looking to talk with the other candidates, David Zuckerman, Patricia Preston, and Charles Kimball. And also the Republicans. Joe Benning is currently a state senator, and also Gregory Thayer, who's from Rutland. I believe he's a town auditor or a town official of some sort. Too many other names to really go through right now, but we will be returning to this list frequently as we try to pull together discussions and possibly some debates with some of the others. All right, we will leave it there for now. But just wanted to say again, if you want to get up to speed on what events are going to be going on around the area, you can go to the GNAT website, gnat-tv.org, and you can check out our events page there. You'll find lists of all things that are going on. I'll just mention one that I'm looking forward to. That's going to be the Manchester Street Fair. That's going to be returning on June 24th at 6 p.m. So that's always a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to seeing that one coming back. Alrighty, that'll do it for today. I want to thank you all for being with us. I'm Andrew McKeever, News Director at GNAT-TV's News Project. Been a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for sharing some of your time with us today. And have a great weekend. And we'll see you hopefully next week as well. And might have one more surprise for you in store. So stay tuned. All right. Take care. Have a great day.